Hello and welcome back to today's lesson of 3D drawing for model railway. In today's lesson we're going to continue working on the frame. I'm going to look to add in the bogie on the rear end here. So we're going to create a new body underneath and using some of the sketch geometry we've used for the axle boxes and suspension, because if you look at the pictures they are the same design, so it's just going to be a case of dragging these across. So jumping to Fusion, the first thing I'm going to do is going to come and look underneath, and I'm going to create a sketch using the plane at the bottom of the solid bar we've already, bottom of the frames that we've already drawn. Now if we look at the pictures, that one's not going to show well. This one here, it's not the greatest of pictures, but the bogie is literally just a rectangular shape. The axles fit in between suspensions on the end. Unfortunately, I don't have a particularly great photo. This picture is probably about the best, where you can see there's a solid frame going across here. I'm going to assume that there would be the same on the other end. So we're going to just use that as a basic rectangular shape to draw our bogie. So we've already started the sketch on this bottom surface. We've got the crane chassis selected on the radio point, and we're going to create a rectangle. We're going to come away from the side there, and using that dotted blue line to find my position on that top corner. Okay, so if I draw, I'm just going to draw a rectangle, that sort of size. I can check the dimension this way in a minute when I look and spin the drawing over. Horizontally and vertically, I'm going to align that corner and that corner, and that corner and that corner, so that they're both the same. Okay, if we extrude this upwards, we don't want to go all the way up because we don't want it to be joined, and we do want a bit of room underneath here. So that's 4.5. So if we come down, say 4.2, that's going to give us a little bit of play and room under there. If we need to, we can shave a bit off after we've tested it, see how it fits, but we've got a little bit of room there. If we turn on this sketch, we can now see that we've drawn that too long on this end, so that's not an issue. Go back into the sketch, we can define this distance here. So I'm going to bring that down to 18.5. Still a little bit too long, it's probably 1/2 a mil. I don't want to come more this way because I'm concerned of hitting this back of the buffer beam here. So just going to bring that in about another 1/2 a mil, I think. Oh, another way we could do this so we can actually see what we're doing here, we just extrude that face, probably the easiest. I am going to leave it slightly long because knowing N-gauge wheels are slightly over scale, we're going to need a little bit of room here for the inside of the wheel here. So we've got 0.5 cut off there. Okay, so the next thing we want is to draw the suspension axle across. So all I'm going to use is the pattern function that we've got here. I'm going to create a rectangular pattern of that selection, the direction. I'm going to bring it across to that body here. I really want to. I'm going to put it on this one first, actually. Yeah. Okay, I'm happy with that. So we'll do the same again. We'll select that as a pattern, direction. We're also doing that. Good. Let's go back again. So we'll do rectangular pattern, feature, direction, sideways. It's not working for some reason. Okay, let's just check that we've got. That's what it is. Edit feature. joining. That's fine. Okay, so what I've seen's happened is it's disappeared the original body that we've had. So if I turn the canvas off, and what's happened is this bit here has caused it to join to the top. So if we did turn that off, you can see that it's not all joined up as it should be. Which is fine, I can fix that. So what we can do, if we come back to our pattern, edit the feature. In fact, if we get rid of that, we can delete that pattern there. And then what we're going to have to do is copy the pattern using all the parts from over here, but just not bring across this bit at the top. So if we find out where all those parts are, it's all except for that one. So from there all the way back, all the way back to here, which is fine. So if we do select features, and then we just run through all of these. That's the only one we don't want there, so if we just leave that one for the time being. Direction is coming sideways, we only need 2 of them. Again, it's going to be quite laggy because we're bringing across a lot here. Turn the canvas back on. We have 34.4, I think. Okay, so that's not where we want to get. It needs to come over more. It's 35.4. Okay, so that's brought everything over, and now as you can see, we've got all these separate bodies. So body 1 is the initial chassis. So if we turn that off, we turn off the canvas, so we can see what we're looking at. Everything else that we've got left is what's been dragged across with that copy. It's not brought across the part there. So we'll quick look at that. So it failed to bring across. It's that one. That's fine. We just go back into edit feature. Make sure the object is selected, and we need to control add that one in as well. That's it. So we've got everything we need there. If we turn off the initial body, what we need to do is get all these lot to join to this body here. So we do combine. Target body is the body 28, which we'll keep it as that, and then select all the rest as the tool bodies. That will then merge those all into that one body. I'm going to rename this. That's it. Double click on the text here. I'm going to rename that as bogie, just so that we're clear which one we're looking at there. Okay, so now we've got that. It's just a case of copying features, direction sideways. If we turn the canvas back on, we don't want two of them. It's not going to do it like that. So what we do is we come back before the combine. We'll have to do it like this. We do a rectangular pattern, all that lot, that direction. We want two of them. I'm actually going to bring it back in slightly because I'm making this bogie shorter. I'm going to go 10.5. And that's because of the compromise we're making with the buffer beanie. Okay, I'm happy with that. So then we'll combine all these into the bogie. That combine's already done some of them. Just edit the feature. Select all bodies. Just select. Don't want body 1 selected there. Everything else. Okay, there's one missing. Fine. Edit. Okay, so that's everything there. We then should be able to just mirror this lot across on the mid plane that we've got. Although the mid plane is not within the chassis, I don't think. Let's have a quick look. Yep, so we've got to create a mid plane for the chassis. Let's just turn that canvas off a minute. And then mid plane, using that base to that base. And then go mirror and select features. That's here. I should all copy those across, join them all, combine them all, and we should have all those details on this side. There you go, so we've got those combined over both sides there. Okay, so next we're going to look at doing bodies. We should have hollowed this out. So if we just come back in the history here, we can now do a simple hollow using the offset command. So create a sketch on this body here. Obviously we've got the radio, we're using the bogie body. Just use an offset on that sketch. I'm going to be using -1mm. And then we can extrude this to the top surface here. Okay, so we've now got that added in. We can just skip back through the history here and it will jump and replace everything that was here. See, it starts to take a while because there was a lot going on in those last 3 or 4 parts there. There we go. So we've got that copied across. Okay, so the next thing we're going to want to do is put the holes in the back for the axles. So if we create a sketch, that inside face, and then we're going to use the project tool. So if we project include, project that surface and that surface, click on OK. That will then put those 2 circles there. We can then select them and extrude. I hate it when you click on button. We can then select those and extrude those inwards. Okay, so we've got 2 mil circle there. Okay. They're probably smaller than these ones, but it's not an issue because now that you've got the geometry there, you can just copy them over. Interesting. Why has this got different geometry to these ones? Check that in a minute. Okay, so the same again, create a sketch on that surface. We're going to project those 2 and extrude these again, same as before. Okay, let's have a look at why these didn't curve off the same as them ones. That's quite interesting, they look completely different. I'm sure we did do something with it back here. Shampoo them, didn't we? No, that's looking right. Ooh, okay there. That's weird. Let's just go back in the history a little bit. Get it to recompute. See what happens. Interesting. Doing it again. Just select them all again. See what happens. Mm, try again. looking at the mirror here. So selecting that feature, that feature, that feature. No, we don't need to combine it, do we? No, we don't need to. There's something to do with this. This is playing God. No, playing with that, which is selecting. Done the same again. Interesting. That's something I'm going to have to look at off camera to work out why that's doing that, because it seems to be not working, not copying across how it should do. Okay, I'll fix that off camera. Okay, so I've found a fix for it, so I'll show you what I've done here. I've deleted the initial mirror, the combined, sorry, so these are all back to individual bodies. And if we come back into the mirror function, edit feature, delete the objects, and then we go down and we select all of that, change these to bodies here, select all these bodies here, you've got to hold control to do. The only ones we're not copying over are the initial chassis and the bogie. Tell it to mirror over on the normal mirror plane that we're using, click on OK. That then copies them all over. That seems to have fixed it. And then if we just scroll back in the history here, we're going to do combine, where we're combining the initial target body is the bogie, and then everything else below that. You can do, for some weird reason, a select that works on that and not on the other. So you can do that. That's then just left us with the initial chassis and the bogie, and it's fixed whatever this compute error was here, which doesn't seem to be too much of an issue now. Okay, so now we're going to have to go back and fix these two sketches that we've done here. So if we just do manage lost projection, see what is lost. So it's forgotten what face it is. Okay, so finish sketch, come back in here, redefine sketch plane. Sketch plane is going to be that surface there, and then copy it across. Same with that one, redefine sketch plane. It's always good practice to fix any of these yellow warnings that you get, because although it remembers them from memory, it processes better if they are actually fixed. Okay, so that's all back to normal. That's fixed, which is what we're after there. So we've got both sides of the suspension and axle boxes on the boat for today. Okay, so the last thing really we need to draw on the outside of the bogie here are these two support brackets here. They're completely different shape to the ones we've got on this solid one here. So we're going to go in and draw those on. Okay, so if you remember how we did those last time, we had to construct an offset plane, do it from the end of the bogie, spin that round, turn on the canvas. Okay, so if you remember, I've moved everything here in by 0.5 millimeter. So I'm going to find the initial point that we want one of them, and then just move it across by 0.25 millimeters, because the other 0.25 will be here. I think that'll work. My 0.5 we have to move, but we'll come to that if we need to. Okay, so we spin that round, draw a sketch on this face, and we slice that so we can see where we're looking at. Okay, so looking at the picture, it just comes out probably 3 or 4 inches and it diagonals all the way down. So if we create a line at the top here, and I'm going to come out by 0.8 millimeters, and I'm going to snap to that top corner there, and then we'll draw a diagonal line from there all the way down, and then I'm going to coincidence that into the corner there, and then we'll draw a line upwards just to close off that geometry, and then we can see it change colour there. We can then select it and extrude. I'm going to drag it 0.3 millimeters and hope to join there. Click on OK. So we've got that there. I'm going to copy this using the pattern. So that's where it would be. So if we come back 0.05, that's brought it back to 0.25 millimeters. Hopefully these two are not far off where we want them. That probably needs to go back actually a little bit. I'm just looking for these distances to be the same. Or similar there and there. That looks okay. Let's turn the canvas off so we can see it. And then we can copy those across with the mirror function again. So mirror features, select those 2 objects. It's going to try and do the top edge here. So we'll have to do components. No, we'll have to do faces. So we've got to select we might have to close that face in actually. Yes, we will do. Create a sketch on that surface. Slice it and draw that there. And then we can pattern mirror. That should be closed off. Why is that not letting me select it? Okay, let's see what happens if I just copy that, and that one, and then mirror those across that plane that we've got. Not that one. It's that one, isn't it? Like that. Yes. Okay, so that's what we'll do. Select the 3 faces around the outside of each of them. That's copied across and it's made it solid across the top there. So now I've got those supporting members on the bogie there. So that's really starting to take shape quite nicely. Happy with that. So I'm going to call that the end of the lesson today. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please press the like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching.